Yo, it's codename Catfish, and as you can see, I'm neither cat nor fish. I'm a robot, and today we'll be benchmarking games in 1440p on this GPU, the Intel ARC A770 limited edition, and we're gonna put it in my Sonic computer. I was gonna get this 6650 XT originally, but it was $500 on retail and used markets at the time, which is lame. So I got this instead. So, let's take a look at the card. Here it is. My Intel ARC A770. I really like the look of this card. On the fan side, it has a soft touch rubber material, and so is the edge where the plate is. The back plate looks cool and has an arc on it, but it seems to be made of plastic. It kinda bends when you push down on it. I don't like how it feels, to be honest. There's quite a bit of RGB on the card. There's this one on the back. There's one large strip that goes around, and there's an RGB ring around each fan. For power, it has a 1 8-pin and 1 6-pin PCIe port, and also a USB port for the RGB, so it comes with this awkward cable. And for I/O, it has 3 DisplayPorts 2.0s, and an HDMI 2.1 port. Neat. So yeah, the card looks nice, and it feels nice besides the backplate. If this card was made of metal, it could have been a Full Metal Alchemist. Missed opportunity, really. When you look at this card's stats, it looks pretty promising, especially compared to my 3060, but I guess we'll figure out how good it actually is soon. With 16GB of GDDR6 VRAM, you won't have to worry about memory limitations for a while, since that's the same amount as the next-gen console's RAM. Let's look at my Sonic computer specs. Check it, my Sonic computer. It's way past cool, isn't it? I built it myself. It has the Sonic motherboard, the Z790 PG SONIC. It supports 13th and 12th gen Intel CPUs, DDR5, PCIe 5, and has 5 M.2 slots, one of them being Gen 5. It's made for speed, but speed is expensive. Also, it doesn't come with native Wi-Fi. The processor is the i5 13600K. It has 6 performance cores and 8 efficiency cores. This AIO is the iQOO H100i Elite with the LCD display. You can put pictures and animated GIFs in it. Pretty cool, huh? The RAM is 32GB of DDR5 at 6400 MHz. The boot SSD is a PCIe Gen 4. As I said, speed is expensive, so no Gen 5 for now. The GPU is the ARC A770, the main character of this video. This case is the Meshify 2 Compact. It has plenty of ventilation, and you can top mount an AIO, and it's all powered by a 750-watt power supply. So that's my Sonic computer specs. I think it came out pretty nice. Feels like I got better at computer building. So before we start benchmarking some games, I'll go over how I'll set this up. We'll be playing games at 1440p. The CPU and GPU will run at its out-of-the-box clock speeds, and the RAM will run at its rated speed. This software is Intel's ARC Control, by the way. We'll be using this driver version from February 22nd, and also resizable bar will be enabled to help with performance. Alright, it's playtime. We're starting with Sonic Frontiers, because it's Sonic on the Sonic motherboard. We'll play at high settings, and the game caps at 60 frames. So we're running around this map, and, well, this is embarrassing, isn't it? The performance is kinda gross. We can't really sustain 60 frames for very long. We average in the mid-50s, and the minimum goes into the 30s here. I tried low settings with anti-aliasing turned off, and cut the image scaling in half. So now we're averaging in the higher 50s, and I'm like, nah, that's not good enough. Well, it seems like the A770 is disrespecting this GPU real hard right now, and I don't like that. I guess we're sticking with high settings. Let's try out a stage in cyberspace. So now the game performs exactly how I would like the overworld to perform, meaning it performs just fine. We're averaging at 59 FPS. Much better. We're gonna go fight this wyvern. We're gonna beat it up. By the way, in-game cutscenes are capped to 30. This game doesn't give the best first impression of this GPU, doesn't it? So much for putting in my Sonic computer. I heard with older driver versions, there were graphical errors with this game, which seem to be fixed now. But yeah, I'm hoping future driver updates help lift the performance a lot, because it runs way better on my 3060. Hunting is fun, especially in Monster Hunter Rise. We're gonna go play on high settings. There's our target, a seething bagel juice. We're gonna beat him up. As you can see, the performance is definitely not worth seething over. It's completely playable above 60 frames with high settings. We're averaging within the hundreds, but maybe you are seething and coping, and you think this frame rate is unacceptable for this game. No problem. We'll switch to average graphics settings. I'm still trying to cut the tail, but the frame rate's now in the 200s. Pretty cool, huh? The lowest we hit in this hunt was 138, so you could probably play this at 144 frames for the most part. We'll try low settings too. Thanks to my doggo, the tail is finally off. Nice! Apparently, this game came out on the Xboxes and the PlayStations, so that's cool, I guess. But games like these really need crossplay, which will probably never happen ever. So yeah, the game plays just fine on this GPU. Cyberpunk is in desperate need of more Rebecca, but for now, we'll be using the in-game benchmark tool with various graphics settings. So here are the FPS results I did with some graphics settings I used. We can actually use ray tracing here on this Intel ARC. Neat. Ray Tracing Ultra preset with no upscaler obviously doesn't perform very well, but I guess it's better than I expected. Turning on FSR2 Auto lets it average in the 30s. Not ideal, but still intriguing. With raw ultra settings, it averages at about 48 FPS, but unfortunately, it does dip under 30. Well, it doesn't seem like we'll average at 60 until we turn on high settings with FSR2. We were close with raw medium settings though. So I did some gameplay on medium settings with FSR2 quality. The game looks pretty decent while driving downtown, and we're averaging closer to 60. Our frame rate even went into the 70s. If you want, you could play the game on raw ultra, and kept the frame rate to 30 for consistency while looking really nice. It might be possible for the game to dip under 30, but it seems to perform just fine here really. You could turn on FSR2 I guess. It'll be up to you of course. It's Nepin time, so we're playing Neptunia Sisters vs. Sisters. There isn't much graphic settings to adjust. I don't even see a frame rate adjustment. I guess it's capped to 60, so we'll nep in high quality settings. So we're living the dream of running around as cute anime lollies. And you'll notice that the game neps at 60 frames. And as you can see, it doesn't really have an issue sustaining a solid 60. Hey look, there's some enemies over there. We're gonna nep them up. In combat, the performance is basically the same as running around the map. Would have been nice to know how this game performs above 60 frames though.
Get some! That's it! Ah, I did it!
These frame drops are usually from the loading screen, and me checking the map.
If you're ever lost, just check the map.
So now we're nepping around in this cave area. And you guessed it, the performance is the same, except now the game looks more cavier than before I guess. We're gonna nep these guys up too. I transformed my nep, but I switched to ROM by accident, and used my EXE.
Attack complete!
Well, whatever, ROM is cute anyway, so it's fine. So yeah, it seems the game doesn't really challenge the A770, so you can use high settings and just play the game. Again, it would have been cool to see the frame rate uncapped though. Oh well. Yep, we're gonna play Hogwarts Legacy next. And check this out, the recommended spec list shows the A770 for high settings. I made footage of running and flying around the school with different graphic settings. Ray Tracing Ultra is a no. Not a chance. Nope, not one bit. But with FSR2, it actually seems playable at 30 FPS. Intriguing. Raw Ultra stayed above 30 here, so maybe if I wanted to play this game at 30 FPS, I might use Ultra. High settings is what the game recommends to us. It averages in the 50s running around, but we can get into the 60s while flying high. With XeSS on high settings, it averages in the 70s, but went under 60, and with FSR2 on high settings, the average is similar, but it barely went under 60. But I think your best bet for staying above 60 is with FSR2 quality on medium settings. Let's check out inside the school. Well, the frame rate's considerably higher now. It even goes into the 150s in some areas like this classroom. I tried playing in the daytime where there are more mobs around. It still performs just fine above 60. You know, it really feels like I'm lost in a college building. There's so much in here. So I went outside to get some fresh air and touch some grass. The good news is that the frame rate is still above 60 for now, so that's cool. The overworld is pretty big itself, but sometimes I feel like the inside of the school is bigger than the overworld. You know what I mean, right? Like, totally. Even though the game's kinda jank, I do enjoy playing this game so far. I only remember watching the first 4 movies, and even I can see tons of references from them. If you were curious, by the way, I ended up in Ravenclaw.
The pain!
The last game we'll play is Atomic Heart, and we're gonna play on atomic settings. Does this make the game run like it's on a hard disk? Yikes. Well, it sure is lively here. Seems like the game is running pretty well so far. We're averaging well above 60 frames. Check them out. Robot Supremacy. So we're in this in-game cutscene, and the frame rate starts dropping a bit. This is my first time playing, so it could be from generating shader cache. The game looks pretty nice though. Feels like my head's in the clouds.
Anyway, why the hell are we riding a jalopy strapped to a damn robot? Were all the jets taken or something?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. Gee, this scene sure is taking forever. I'm waiting. Finally, some gameplay. So we're sort of going a little under 60 here. Still, considering how detailed this game looks, I guess that isn't terrible. Damn, that's the freshest bacon I've ever seen. Wow. I went and progressed to this area, and now we're averaging in the 90s, but then I didn't know how to dodge. Probably because I skipped some tutorial by accident. I went and flipped on FSR quality. Looks like the frame rate average jumped to the 160s. That's a pretty considerable performance boost, I think. Bam! Overall, the game seems to perform pretty well. If I were to play this game on this machine, I'd definitely use FSR2. This game seems interesting. Maybe in the future I'll go and play it more.
What the fuck?
Oh,
Fuck
jeez.
me!
Oh, what a stud! I can't get enough. Jocks, let me tie you to the bed, baby.
That's no good.
Fight back.
So the A770 isn't perfect, but I think it's pretty decent for one of Intel's first gaming GPUs. A bit better than what I was expecting, actually. It's able to play some next-generation games, like Cyberpunk, Hogwarts Legacy, and Atomic Heart in 1440p. Though I'm disappointed in Sonic Frontier's performance. I wanna believe this game and other games could get better with future driver updates, so I should keep an eye out for them and play them again once more. At least Intel seems active with driver updates for both the A770 and the A750. That's a good thing, right? Even if they aren't ideal in the long term, then perhaps Intel's next generation gaming GPUs will get it right in the future. I'll be looking forward to them. At MSRP, this particular GPU costs $350, and if you compare its current gaming performance to other GPUs like the 3060 and probably the 6600 XT, they'll most likely be better pickups. If future driver updates make the A7 series super good, then they might be closer to being worth their prices. Who knows? Being an early adopter sure is interesting. So what do you think about the ARC A7 series GPUs? Do you want an Intel gaming GPU? Do you think they're good enough as they are right now? Are you interested in seeing performance improvements over time with driver updates? Do you think my Sonic computer looks way past cool? Let me know in the comments. So thanks for watching this video. It's pretty cool having a Sonic computer. By the way, I upgraded my main rig. It now has a 13700K and 64GB of DDR5 RAM. It feels easier to edit videos now. Yay! If you like this video, or happen to find it useful in some way, consider hitting the like button and subscribing. And don't forget to share the video. With the power of friendship or whatever, I can become best girl. Yep, that should be everything. Bye!